We're seeing the unofficial depth charts drop left and right on social media. A lot of people are looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they're doing with the running backs. Today, we're going to be looking at Jaylen Warren and the Pittsburgh Steelers backfield to see what you want to do with these guys in fantasy football. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're talking about these players every day. We're doing as many deep dives as possible, especially on those trending players, so you know more about them. We're covering the waiver wire every single day. And on top of that, we're going to look at all the matchups and use those to help you set your lineups. Click that button. Stop missing out. Jaylen Warren got paid. Another reason why we're looking at him. A lot of people are worried about Jaylen Warren, whether or not to draft him. Kaleb Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell sneaking in there. A lot of people are looking at the Steelers backfield wondering what's up with it. We're going to dig into that. We've already done it before on another video. But this depth chart rolled out. Jaylen Warren, number 1. Kenneth Gainwell, number 2. Kaleb Johnson, number 3. Where's the fantasy points going to be scored from this backfield this season? What are we projecting? We're going to talk a lot about that in this video. And we've really done it before. And we really told you in that video right there that Jaylen Warren's going to be the starter. And Kaleb Johnson is the talented young running back. And what to look out for. What to look for throughout the season, the upside when he could potentially break out. On top of this man right here, Arthur Smith, who's going to be the sour in the concoction for everybody involved. But Jaylen Warren back in college, productive at Oklahoma State, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3.21 yards after contact per attempt. That's some years ago. But during that time, he was dominant against some big schools, Boise State, Texas, Kansas State, TCU, Stony Brook. But you're looking at Jaylen Warren here. We go undrafted. We climb our way up the depth chart. We've been on the team for a bit. We are a mainstay for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're a tremendous pass blocker. We block our face off. We get the gritty stuff up the gut. We can catch the ball in the backfield a little bit. We got some size. We're a good running back. And the thing is, we're averaging 8.8 points per game. Our best season, 2023, 784 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. We can catch the ball in the backfield. Fantasy-wise, we're okay. We're okay. We ain't winning leagues, but we're okay. We can be productive, but we're okay. We're not a league-winning running back. But if you got him off the bench and you plug him in every now and again, Jaylen Warren's okay. But now he's listed as a starter. Is he going to be getting that starter opportunity? You're looking at this depth chart. Kenneth Gainwell, Kaleb Johnson is there. And we're talking about this backfield too, not just Jaylen Warren, because you can't talk about Jaylen Warren without talking about Kaleb Johnson. You can't talk about Kaleb Johnson unless you bring up Warren and Kenneth Gainwell, because Kenneth Gainwell was getting work in the preseason games over Kaleb Johnson when it came to the reps. When you look at the reps in the preseason games, it was Warren, Gainwell, Johnson. When you put the strings together, when you put the clues together, that's what it looked like. But Kenneth Gainwell is a good running back. Not a fantasy football league-winning running back, but good for football, good for the NFL, good for any NFL team. He's a good satellite back for any team out there. At Memphis, he had some big-time seasons there. A prospect that we were waiting for to come out, falls to the 5th round. Able to stick around the league, 26 years old. A good running back, not great. Top-end producer, Kaleb Johnson. We are looking at Kaleb Johnson hardcore this year. He's got a lot of draft capital in fantasy football. A lot of people drafting him in the middle rounds. And you see the man shadowed there. Transitioned. Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith, like I said earlier, is the sour note to this backfield. And if you go back to the Atlanta Falcons, go back to Bijan Robinson when he was there, he was cooking. All of a sudden, there would be this random game where we're like waiting for him to get touches, waiting for him to get opportunities. Arthur Smith will go crazy sometimes throughout the year. Arthur Smith's one of those coaches. You know what? He ain't too bad. He ain't too bad. He'll just do things that are not great for fantasy football and not what we want personally. He ain't that bad. He ain't that bad. Kaleb Johnson, young rookie running back, tremendous talent, would have been the first running back selected in last year's draft. This year's draft is very deep with running back prospects. He goes in the 3rd round, a steal for the Steelers. Tomlin said when they drafted him, he wanted to get him a lot of touches, a lot of work. Pass protection, not many reps in college because he was always getting the ball. The leading target getter on that team last year only had 46 targets. Like, usually the leading target leader on any college team catches like more than 80 balls, let alone getting that many targets. Like, that is crazy. That being said, not many opportunities in pass pro. He's also running routes. I think he had 38 pass pro reps, if I remember from that last video. Kaleb Johnson, though, a little bit green around those edges. We saw that in preseason. We saw that in training camp, minicamp, and OTAs as we went over the highlights with you guys. That's why we do that, so you can see that, so you can make your decisions. We noted throughout the summer that Jaylen Warren was going to be the starter. We're not worried about that. Talent wins out, so anytime down the line, he could end up being the guy getting the reps, especially when we get deeper into the season. We got to shoot for upside. We got to get more out of our runs. They might have to start using Kaleb Johnson a little bit more. He's big. He's physical. Good in space. It might be a long ramp up. That might be happening. But also, when I did my Kaleb Johnson videos, I've done a bunch of them because he's a trending topic. When I talk about him and rookies, and all of them that are getting good draft capital, middle rounds or higher in redraft, that if you cannot handle your rookie running back with a slow ramp up, a la hardly any production in the first couple weeks of the season, don't draft them if that scenario happens. Like when Devin A. Chin, his rookie season happened, first 2 weeks he just scored 1.9 total during that time. Week 3, he scores over 50 fantasy points. During those first 2 weeks, people were asking if they could drop him. Kaleb Johnson could be in the same boat, maybe longer. And he might start hitting, and this guy here, Arthur Smith, could start doing weird things with him, like pulling him out of games, not letting him get touches, give Kenneth Gainwell the goal line looks when you got him and Warren, who are two dogs. That's what you got to deal with. Now, if you understand that this is an asset that could ramp up for the end of the season, and it could be next year, and you understand that risk, that's for you. But this is a big-time running back prospect the Steelers have here, and you're waiting for him to get in line. But where he's going at in drafts and where he was going at in drafts, like I said, running backs need time to ramp up. Usually, it's a few weeks. Sometimes they hit off the rip if they're like a first-rounder or a high-end draft pick. He's not. He's a third-rounder. We can see it with Arthur Smith. They're going to allow him to earn his job, earn his touches, earn his reps. It could be 3-4 weeks. It could be 7, 8, 9, 10. It could be next year. It could be a headache next 3 seasons with this coaching staff and him. Really depends. And he could be playing well, and it could be weird with him because it's Arthur Smith. We've seen this. There's a history with this. However, this is a very good running back prospect. He was expensive. He's getting a little bit cheaper now in drafts. A guy to pay attention to. You're looking at this backfield. Last year, Warren averaged 4.3 yards per carry, 511 yards, getting 25% of the rushing attempts out of the backfield. And Najee Harris had 49% of those rushing attempts. I can't see Warren getting half the rushing attempts, and then Kenneth Gainwell holding up with 25 to 30%. I just can't see them doing that for an entire season. I think eventually Kaleb Johnson's going to come in and get his work, and he's a good running back, especially with the ball in his hands, especially in space. I think he's eventually going to get his opportunity. When you look at it that way, like Warren with a smaller sample is very good. He's very good pass protecting. That's one thing. Also, this team wants to run the football, but they're also very slow in pace. Neutral game script, the lower chart on the bottom here, 28.6 seconds between snaps. Very slow team. 59 plays ran per game in neutral game script on average. That is a very slow rate. When they're out of neutral game script with everything added in, they're at 65. So if they got to push it, they will. They do not want to. They want to slow it down. And you're looking at his draft capital here. Jaylen Warren going in the 8th round of drafts right here on Underdog. Could be a little bit cheaper in home league drafts. He might be jumping up the board a little bit today. He's a dependable veteran running back. He might be good for you for the short term. You might be in a position where you're not starting him. Maybe you go for more upside like a Ja'Cory Croskey-Merritt. Maybe with somebody else like an Ollie Gordon or one of those other younger running backs instead of Jaylen Warren. but he should be able to hold it down enough. But I would not want to be starting my season at running back at my RB2 spot, holding it down. But if I went like 0 RB or hero RB, and that's what I did because I wanted a veteran, and then after that, I just slammed lottery tickets, and I'm stacked at wide receiver, good at tight end, and quarterback, that could be a build. Underdog ADP. Everybody is souring on Kaleb Johnson. His stock is falling as they realize he's going to be sharing the touches. More redrafters are getting involved on Underdog ADP as well once we get closer to redraft season. That's one thing to note. But he is going to be sharing the backfield. You are going to have to wait on him a little bit. He's not going to start off as the starter. We've known this through June, July. We've known this. We knew this all along, that Jaylen Warren was going to be the starter. We've said this on countless videos. A lot of the Kaleb Johnson clip videos from training camp, we said that. Especially some of those I had to note right in the beginning because I would say it in the middle. So I would say it in the start on the end of those. Like, hey, Jaylen Warren's going to be the starter, but we like Kaleb Johnson too. This, and this. So people could understand what was going on. But this is a big-time prospect that could light it up at the end of the season. Jaylen Warren's going to be in line for a lot of work to start it off, though. And his value is going up a little bit, but it's also not jumping the shark. Aaron Rodgers, though. If you want to talk about pace of play again, since 2018, that was the last time he was top 15 in pace of play. Outside of that, I get it. We had the Achilles year in there and everything else, the fallout of that. Outside of the top 25, pretty much, since then. Pretty much in the 2020s, slow-paced quarterback. Throughout his career, there were only 4 times, counting that 2018 season, where he's top 15 in pace of play. That being said, considering the Steelers are a slow-paced offense, Aaron Rodgers is a slow-paced offense, this is going to be a slow-paced offense. On top of that, Rodgers is very fickle. So he's going to want Warren out there. And another thing, if they want to re-sign Rodgers, they're probably going to want to keep Warren, which they got that contract for if they want to go another year. If not, they're probably going to want to have Warren for pass protection to get that new quarterback stabilized if they get one through the draft, free agency, whatever. Now, when you're looking at Aaron Rodgers here, there's a good chance Warren's out there more than what you think, and Kaleb Johnson may get his full opportunity later on down the road when they got to shoot for more upside. Also, Aaron Rodgers noted long time ago, college, Marshawn Lynch. He will help you out if he likes you. He will help you out. Listen to Marshawn Lynch stories. We're talking about cow here. We're talking about practice. Aaron Rodgers will do that. So we have to pay attention to that too. But I guarantee he likes Jaylen Warren because that dude blocks his face off. But with a slow-paced offense, less plays ran, less opportunities for these players to score in fantasy football. Why you need him? You want those vet touches. You want that RB2 work. He's cheap, and you're going to get some sort of production. Really depends on your build. If I'm going here RB, wide receiver, and now I'm just waiting for the vet that I like that falls to me. 8th round, 9th round, 10th round. And I'm just taking that value. And while I'm looking at lottery tickets, yeah, that could happen. That could be a good build. Like, you're going to be sexy at wide receiver. You got your hero. He's in there in your lineup. You're all right, though, because you got all the lottery ticket running backs from Krosky Merritt to Ollie Gordon to Jaden Blue. So you're waiting for something to turn and burn with that. And then on top of that, you might have another veteran with him because Eckler's a little bit cheaper than that or something like that. And you're rocking it like that, but you're stacked at wide receiver. You're rolling out 3 or 4 wide receiver ones, top flight tight end. You got the quarterback a little bit later, but it's the one you really want. That would be the build I would see myself drafting Jaylen Warren in. But Kaleb Johnson is the reason why you don't like him or don't want him or don't need him. Kaleb Johnson's that damn good. He could push him to the side on any given week. If Warren gets banged up for, say, like a couple weeks, an ankle sprain or something like that, Johnson is good enough to take over this backfield, get all the touches, and be the man for the rest of our lives. Not for the rest of our lives, but for the rest of the 2020s. Kaleb Johnson is that good. I look for him to take over eventually. Could be this year, next year, year after. He's going to be on the roster. He's able to take out a lot of punishment, a lot of touches, and keep ticking. He looks like a Steeler with how he runs the ball, especially at Iowa. This is a big-time running back prospect. I think Jaylen Warren, great running back. Great running back. I think the Steelers got Steelers football with these 3 running backs. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.